So how's everybody doing? First off, excuse the background, but I had to find a quiet place in the house. Kind of tough when there's kids all over the place. I'm sure a few of you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, today I want to talk a little bit about cravings. I have noticed my cravings have succeeded substantially in the last couple weeks, which is a great thing. The first week was absolutely terrible. I think about every 2, 3 hours, I would think about getting a drink. The dumbest things in the world would just spark it in my brain where it's like, oh, I want booze. Not sure exactly how that works, but it's a shitty feeling, is what it is. Second week got a little bit better. Third week, which is just not that long ago, was better yet. And now I really don't think about it too often. Not as much as I did before, maybe once a day. I still have my, what would you say, triggers. I watched a show the other day. They were sitting in the bar talking, and just the whole atmosphere basically got my attention and got my wheels turning. The nice, smooth finished bar, couple guys sitting there with a tall beer, frosted on the mug. Um, Made me really want to drink. It's weird how that works, but I have done some reading and research, and it's told me that when you've done years and years of alcohol abuse, eventually your brain tricks you into thinking that it needs alcohol just as much as you need sleep, water, food, anything like that to survive. So that's why things like seizures happen, shakes, anything like that, any kind of withdrawal symptoms. Your brain honestly thinks that, and that's why it also tells you it wants to drink. It thinks it does, just like, if you're hungry and you see food, your mouth starts to water. It's kind of the same thing. Eventually, it does go away. It just takes some time. Obviously, the longer you're away from the stuff, the better you will be at not getting cravings, or at least there'll be a lot less cravings, hopefully. On top of that, I mean, you have dreams about it. I know at first, when I first quit, probably the second week, I started having dreams about alcohol. My most recent one was actually last night, and that's what kind of gave me the idea to talk about cravings today. It was so realistic. I remember I was going to have a low ball of Jack Daniels right before bed, thinking I'll have one, that's it, perfect, no one's going to know. And I took it, picked it up, spun the glass, smelt it. It was almost like it was really happening. The fantastic part about it is, even though I contemplated doing it in my dream, and it was only a dream, in my dream, I decided not to drink it. I dumped it out, washed the cup out twice even, and then poured water in there and drank water, and then I woke up. For me, I would say that's a good sign. I would say that I truly am on the right path and that I really do want to be sober mentally. Because this was obviously in a dream. This wasn't even, a real life situation. So if in my dreams I'm deciding not to drink, that means I feel like I'm really doing well and truly want to stay sober in, reality. Different things you can do about cravings. I've said this in the past, but exercise is the best. Hands down for me. I go to the gym or go running, anything like that to get my mind off of it and get my heart rate up. That helps me a ton. I actually just beat myself up. I think I mentioned this before. I'll just tell myself, hey, you need to beat this out of your system. Just run, 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 or lift, lift, lift. Obviously, don't hurt yourself, but it does work and it does help. And it's a way better addiction, obviously, to have in life. Obviously, the other things are any kind of meetings you can do, whether I think online, if you can find online meetings, those are the best, because sometimes it's really hard to get to a meeting when there's certain times. Obviously in the Twin Cities or bigger city areas, there's a lot more meetings, but when you're in smaller towns, it's usually only one or two a day, so you can't go at that time, and that's generally when you really need it. There's not a meeting going on, but there's always online groups that you can go to and turn to, or even have it at sponsors are huge. I have one right now, and it is a huge tool for me to be able to call that certain person whenever I'm down and talk to them. And when they've been through it before, just like you, They can relate to you, they can tell you different things, and they're there to beat you up too. It's not just to be, they're not your buddy. They're your tool. You got to remember that. They're your tool to help you get through this. Other than that, I would say whatever works for you to, get your mind away from the cravings. I'm just giving you a couple examples. There's plenty of other things out there. Everybody is their own person in themselves. That, one thing works for one, obviously that's not going to work for the other. You just got to find that and stick with it. I promise you, with time it does go away. I have been sober before in the past for 2 years, and I screwed it up and thinking I could drink. Clearly that wasn't the case. That first beer, I was right back at it. So I know I can do it again. It's tough. It's really tough. But I'm already seeing an improvement, and it's only been a month. So super happy about all this. Hopefully this is helping other people if they are watching this and going through the same thing, or, relatively this kind of the same thing. I hope it helps, because it helps me to be able to come on here and talk to you guys, because number one, it holds me accountable. Number two, it makes me feel better to just be open and honest about things. I've been so quiet and bottled up my whole life. I always tried to play the system and never tell anybody the actual truth when it came to my drinking. So it's a real relief to get it out there and tell it to people. So other than that, I hope everyone has a great night. Like I said, please subscribe, like my channel, share this on Facebook, tell your friends about it, only if it helps. If it doesn't, I'm not going to ask you to do it. It's just like, why would you do something if it's not going to help you? Have a good night.